Hi everyone, I hope I find you well. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is CeeChronicles if you're here for the first time, and my content is mostly fragrance reviews. So I do hope that after watching this video, you would, consider subscribing. I also want to acknowledge my returning subscribers. I have a quick video for you today, because if you've noticed, I have been bringing, Maison Alhambras back to back. Reason being, I just came across this house and I just thought, okay, fine. Since I have a YouTube channel, I might as well, bring as many as I can. Well, apparently the house is not stopping producing, so there's a lot of other fragrances that they have on the market, but so far the ones I bring to you are the ones I have. So I had actually dismissed this particular fragrance, okay, Tweet by Maison Alhambra. By dismissed it is I didn't want to bring it, but then I thought, well, it might be useful for somebody because I do have the actual Twilly. Okay, this fragrance obviously is inspired by Twilly. I don't have Twilly in a full size. I will tell you the reason why. Okay, so I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison for you, for those who are interested, and then you can make your decision on which to purchase. Although of course I would encourage you to purchase the Twilly Dermers if you can afford it. However, we do have dupes on the market, and I do sometimes bring you dupes here, which it's entirely up to you. So this is Tweet, and this is by Maison Alhambra, and I am going to compare it while this one sits. Let me just dab this one on. Okay, just dab this one on. It's a dab on because it's a 7.5 ml. Okay, if you can see that. So the easiest way to dab, for those who don't like, is you just turn it around like that. So there is some on the top. Take off the top, okay, and then just that, because I know a lot of people don't like the dab-ons. They don't, quite know how to dab on, whether they should dab on with a bottle. Most of the bottles, if you try dabbing on, nothing comes out. Okay, so I am basically bringing you a side-by-side comparison of the original versus the dupe, okay? So my original is on the right side. No, on the left side, sorry. It could be right on your screen, I'm not sure. And then this is where I've sprayed my Tweet by Maison Alhambra, okay? So basically what you get in the opening from both is that warm spiciness and a ginger note, okay? That you definitely get, okay? I'm getting that from both, okay? So the opening is quite similar. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? There is also that creaminess from both again. Okay, I just kind of feel the creaminess. This one, however, this dupe, for some reason, is more prominent. It's more louder. The opening for the dupe is more louder, okay? And then there is a bitterness, okay, that comes through, especially with the original. There is some bitterness, okay, that I feel here. It's kind of like a bitterness from the zestiness. Okay, they are both zesty, but the zestiness in here is more is more bitter than the zestiness in this particular one. With this one, the florals are already coming forward. Here it's still more on the ginger. Okay, I did do a side-by-side before this video, in case some of you are wondering how I'm able to tell this and so fast, because obviously fragrances develop they develop differently, so I did do a side-by-side comparison. This is just for reference sake. This is why I'm doing it. Okay, so the zestiness in here gives it kind of like a bitterness. There is a zestiness also on the on this dupe, but it's more amped up on the original. Okay, if I hope I didn't lose you there. Okay, both of the fragrances have a fresh undertone to them. Okay, something is a bit fresh here, and then there is a slight screechiness that I'm picking off the Tweet from Maison Alhambra. So you should expect some sort of screechiness. The screechiness, in a way, I believe is, it kind of takes this one to a more advantageous side, because this one then projects a bit better than this one, because this one is unfolding in a pretty really nice and classy but slow way. This one is already in your face, like I'm here. Okay, so you can obviously get that there is a loudness that you get from this Tweet, okay, by Maison Alhambra. The other thing that I have to mention here is I do feel some syntheticness, and this is from both of them, okay? So this is not to say because this one is a dupe or this one. I just do feel some kind of a syntheticness. There is also a pleasantness with both of the fragrances, you know, so I wouldn't necessarily, you know, slag off one for the other. I do feel like a general pleasantness surrounding this. There is like that sandalwood, you know, creaminess is more prominent in this one than it is here, maybe because of that screechiness that I was talking about, that the screechiness tends to overshadow everything. But there is an advantage to this screechiness because this one tends to project more. It tends to be more loud. It tends to be the sort of fragrance that just by spraying it, it will leave like a trail within, say, within an hour or so, or around about, you know, like I've sprayed it in this closet, you know, I'm most likely going to smell this one more. And I do know for some you will say, oh, but this one is a dab-on, that's why it doesn't have that, you know, kind of, because this one has, you know, is in the air and stuff like that. Like I said, I did compare these ones side by side, so you know, I am telling you based off of what I'm getting, okay? So there is a sandalwood creaminess, or a creaminess, or if it's it could be tuberose, I don't know, but there is some creaminess that comes across or comes through from this one, which is quite pretty as well, okay? And though both florals, the floralness in Twilly, okay, is quite short-lived than the floralness in this, okay? So these are both florals. Obviously they're going to have that spicy ginger pulling them to a spicy kind of floral, but the floralness in this one is more prominent than the florals in this you would enjoy more of the spiciness. It gives you that spicy experience, which is obviously from the ginger, you know, and then there's that tuberose, and then there's that creaminess that is what you get from the original. And yet this one, you know, in as much as you do have that, it tends to be masked by the, you know, kind of loud florals, okay? They are really similar to an extent, to a point that it's entirely up to your budget, really, whether you need the dupe or, you know, whether you need the original. I was going to buy the original myself years back when I got my little mini, but there was something there that was just not ticking it for me, you know, like absolutely ticking it for me, okay? It's sparkly, it's beautiful, but I opted for the oil because in the oil I was hoping to get something more from Twilly, which to an extent I get a little bit more from here because this one is a little bit amped up, okay, whereas this one is quieter, you know. So why I went for the oil is I wanted something that was more, you know. I kept on saying, should I pull the trigger on 100 something, you know, a bottle of Twilly, and it was just something that was in there that, in as much as it is like a unique floral because of that ginger, it wasn't quite really, you know, ticking the box to a point where I thought, okay, I'm going to keep my little mini, and then to enjoy my Twilly, I'm going to use the oil, okay? The oil is also not of the company of Hermes, but you know, it does something for me more than it does this, okay? So yeah, the florals in here are more lasting, but then again, the lasting power in both seems to be more or less the same. I get 4 to 5 hours from both, okay? So basically that is it. The interpretation is not that bad. I would say, you know, the interpretation, you know, of this one versus the original is actually maybe, let me just say 85 to 90% accurate, the interpretation. What I just don't like is the shameless copying, you know, of everything. They did not need to go as far as putting the, you know, bow there. They did not need to go as far as putting the, you know, the writing almost in a similar fashion, you know, like you can see it says tweet, even the print there. I just feel this is where Maison Alhambra is kind of, you know, not being fair. There's a lot of dupes around where, you know, you don't really need to put it in people's faces that this is a dupe and this is it. With this company, they copy the box. They, you know, of course the bottle is not exactly the same, but you can more or less tell the top is exactly the same, you know. And you know, of the bigger Twilly, there is a bow like this, which I find completely unnecessary, you know, completely uncalled for. You know, they are doing great fragrances, which is why I always bring dupes to you. They do, you know, really good fragrances, really good interpretations, because of course it's a Middle Eastern company, and you know, the ingredients they're using here, I would like to think are good quality, because of course their fragrances really do good, and they actually are good dupes. But the problem being, you know, I find it's not really necessary to copy everything to the T. So that is what I had for you today, guys. C Chronicles is my name. I hope you found this useful. I had to bring it to you because, like I said, I'm going to do a sum up of the Maison Alhambra collection, which I have within my collection, before I do a declutter of some. So instead of then, you know, using or referring to others or to some of the fragrances here while I've decluttered them, I just thought, okay, let me just do a quick Maison Alhambra you know, review of the ones I have within my collection. That way, you know, when I finally let them go, you know, at least I would have brought them to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope all of you are safe. Stay blessed, stay fabulous, and remember, smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.